Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Tom.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
It's our TOEIC unit today, and we're going to be talking about sorting out a payment plan. If you are attending a school somewhere, a university, or a college or something like that, there's a good chance that you need to work out some sort of payment plan. Very few people can pay for everything all at once with one lump sum or a one-off payment. But today we're going to be talking about how you can make these arrangements, especially Douglas here. He's talking to Elizabeth, who works at the financial aid office.
You know, when I went to school, not my bachelor's degree, because my folks helped me with that. They paid for it. But for my master's, I took out school loans, so I know about this stuff. So let's go ahead and read through the dialogue, and then we'll talk about some of these terms and what they mean. Good afternoon. How can I help you?
Is this the financial aid office?
That's right. Are you here to pay your tuition fees for the semester?
Yes, but this is my first semester here, so I'm not sure what I need to do.
Don't worry. I'll take you through it. Are you planning to pay everything in a lump sum?
I wish I were wealthy enough to do that. No, I can't afford to pay it all at once.
That's okay. We have a number of different payment plan options that allow you to pay in installments. This document explains all the different payment plans and sets out the terms and conditions.
Thanks. So you have 3 different plans?
That's correct. We offer a 4-month plan, a 3-month plan, and a 2-month plan. You can see the dates for when each installment is due and how much is required for each payment.
What's the advantage of choosing the 2 or 3-month plan over the 4-month plan?
Well, each payment will come with a transaction charge. So the fewer the installments, the less you pay. Furthermore, there's a one-off enrollment fee for each of the plans, and that fee is lower if you choose a plan with fewer installments.
Oh, yes, I see that information on page 2. I'd better read through this before I make my decision.
Sure, take your time, and let me know if you have any questions.
Okay, let's sort out my payment plan. This would be the payment plan for Douglas, who is a new student at whatever educational institution he's attending here in today's lesson. Let's just say he's going to college or something like that, university or something. And in the title here, we have the verb phrase to sort out, which means to try to figure things out because they are confusing. So you want to make sense of them. You want to better understand the details.
So they're sorting out something called a payment plan. Sometimes when you need to borrow some money, you need a payment plan because you can't ever, well, maybe some people can. You can never pay back the sum that you borrowed all at once. So you need a payment plan so you can pay back parts of that borrowed amount little by little. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Sometimes tuition is quite high. I think, Tom, that here in Taiwan, the tuition is actually pretty reasonable. I was telling Tom when I had to have some financial aid for my master's degree. It took me 10 years to pay it off.
Wow.
So school can be quite expensive in the States.
Yeah, I remember when I was attending university, you heard about this going on all the time. The regents are going to raise tuition again, and everyone goes down to the central campus to protest the constant raises in tuition and stuff like that. But you don't hear about that too much here in Taiwan. University can be quite expensive in the United States. So in any case here, Douglas, I guess, has just arrived at the financial aid office, and Elizabeth greets him. She says, "Good afternoon. How can I help you? What can I help you with? What can I do for you?" She could also say that. And Douglas says, "Well, is this the financial aid office?" Okay, so he's not so sure. Maybe he read the sign or somebody told him where to go, but he still wants to make sure. He's a new student here. He wants to make double sure that he's in the right place.
That's right, she says. So, are you here to pay your tuition fees for the semester? It sounds like the semester is just beginning or about to begin. And so she's guessing why he's there. When you go to a school, it could be a university or a college, or maybe it's a cooking school. Maybe you want to be a chef. You go there. They have something called tuition. Tuition is non-count. It's a sum of money that you pay for the instruction that you receive at some sort of school. So it's not what we call money, though, that we pay to our piano teacher or our coach, maybe that's helping us learn how to run faster. This is a word we use that's really used only for schools of some kind.
You're absolutely right. So, again, you need to pay your tuition. When I went to university, I think we paid once a month. It was our U bill that came out every month, and you had to pay it. And so here, she is asking him if he is there in the financial aid office to pay his tuition fees for the semester. A semester, of course, is a period of study in a university. My university, of course, had the fall semester and the spring semester and then the summer session, which was shorter than the regular semesters. But in any case, yes, in some cases, you do need to pay all of your fees and your tuition for the entire semester. Otherwise, they won't let you attend classes.
Well, she says, don't worry, I'll take you through it. So it is his first semester there, and he's not really sure what to do. If you're new somewhere, and maybe there is something you need to register for, or just some sort of action you need to take and you don't know how to do it, someone might say something like this to you, I'll take you through it. Let me help you through it. When you go through something, it just means she's going to explain the whole process to him. Usually when you have to go through something, it's something that's not something that doesn't just quickly happen. Maybe somebody is going to explain what happens over a period of time.
Exactly. So she's going to take him through it step by step. And then she has a question for him. Are you planning to pay everything in a lump sum? This just means everything all at once, okay? Not in separate installments or separate payments. It's a lump sum. A lump is like one big mass of something. You might see lumps in your gravy, for example. If the gravy has not been stirred enough, there might be small lumps in there. Little small masses of things that are kind of hard.
A lump of sugar?
There you go, a lump of sugar. Or maybe there's an old poem I remember. It went like this. You know, roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, and so are you. Well, as a kid, we had another phrase. It was, violets are wilted. No, I'm sorry. Roses are wilted, violets are dead. Sugar is lumpy, and so is your head.
Oh, I haven't heard that one before, Tom. That's not as nice as the original, I must say.
You don't want to say that to your girlfriend, guys. She'll probably slap you in the face and never want to see you again. But again, her question is, do you want to pay everything all at once? Do you want to pay in a lump sum?
Okay, next part. Douglas says, I wish I were wealthy enough to do that. Notice we're using the conditional wish something were true. Notice he doesn't say, I wish I was wealthy enough to do that. Typically, when we're speaking English, you'll hear a lot of Americans actually use that. But the correct grammar is you wish something were the case. She wishes she were wealthy. He wishes he were wealthy. You use the were there for the conditional if. No, he's not that wealthy. He says, I can't afford to pay it all at once. If you can afford to pay something, it means you have enough money to do it. And most of us can't afford to pay the bill all at once or in one lump sum. Those are both similar phrases there. Now, she says that's okay. We have a number of different payment plan options that allow you to pay in installments. If you have an option, guys, it just means you have a choice. And here he has a couple of choices or several choices. An installment is a part of a payment. Say you owe one sum, right? If you have an installment plan, it means they break up that total amount into equal payments. And usually every month or every term or what have you, you'll pay that equal amount of payment. That's called an an installment.
Right, so if you pay once per month, that would be a monthly installment. I've heard of people buying homes in the United States. They take out a 20-year loan or a 30-year loan or something like that, and then they make monthly installments for a 20-year period or a 30-year period, depending on how they have decided to finance their homes.
They're using this method payment, too, nowadays. When you buy things online, if you shop online or you watch TV shows that are selling things, the shopping channels, they'll have installment plans. You'll often see that in English, at least.
Yeah, you see that here as well. You can make monthly payments in 3 monthly payments or something like that if you want to buy yourself a new smartphone or something like that, or some kind of a refrigerator or a new scooter or something like that.
Bigger.
That's right. Well, in any case, she's telling him about the options he has, and then she has a document for him to peruse over. This document explains all the different payment plans and sets out the terms and conditions. So, yes, indeed, this document explains all those different options that he has, and this document also sets out the terms and conditions. Now, in this sentence, we have the verb phrase to set out. That can mean a couple of things. Here it just means it gives you the details. It explains them all. It lays them out for you. It takes you through it one step at a time so you can easily understand it. Set out could also mean you're beginning a journey. We're going to set out for a trip to Kaohsiung tomorrow at 6 in the morning. But here, set out again just means to lay things out and give you all the details.
That's right. So she says that's correct and then tells him about the different options. They have a 4-month plan, a 3-month plan, and a 2-month plan. She says you can see the dates for when each installment is due and how much is required for each payment. Typically, when I talk about installments, Tom, I say installment payment. So you might see those two words side by side sometimes as well. So if something is due, that's when it's expected, or that's when you have to pay. So we often talk about when is your baby due if someone is pregnant. So that's when the baby is expected to be born. So when something is due, that's when they expect you to make a payment.
That's right. And so that tells you when you're supposed to make your payment and then how much you're supposed to pay, how much money is required for each payment. Douglas has all sorts of questions today. Here's his next question. What's the advantage of choosing the 2 or 3-month plan over the 4-month plan? Most people would probably choose the 4-month plan because the payments would be smaller. So he wants to know what good it would do him to choose a 2-month payment plan or a 3-month payment plan. And Elizabeth says, well, each payment will come with a transaction charge, so the fewer the installments, the less you pay. So each time you have to pay, you have an additional charge. It's a transaction charge. A transaction is just simply when you pay money to someone else or when they give you money, when there is some kind of interaction in business between two people or more. That is a transaction, and there's a charge for this. So if you have to make a payment each time, well, then you have to pay more money. It adds up.
It sure does. Usually, there's also interest charged as well, but here they just have a transaction fee, which is a set amount. If you have interest added onto it, it would be based on how much you still owe. And then they calculate that interest based on what you still owe. Now, charge, as you might know, is a verb and a noun. For example, you could say, the restaurant charged me $15 for my meal. You're using it as a verb there. Or you could say, the charge was $15 for my meal. They're both correct. So verb and noun. Here it's being used as a noun. So it makes sense that the fewer the installments, the less you have to pay because you don't have to pay that extra transaction charge they tack on. Tack on just means they add it on.
Yep, the fewer, the less. So the fewer the installments, the less you pay. So it's probably better to choose a 2-month installment plan as opposed to a 3 or 4. Furthermore, or in addition, there's a one-off enrollment fee for each of the plans. Now here, this term one-off does refer to something that is done once and only once, and it is not repeated later on. on. So this is another kind of fee. It's an enrollment fee for each of the plans. Enrollment here does refer to when you basically sign up for classes and you start taking classes at a school. So each plan requires a fee, but it's only paid one time.
One-off means done or happening just once. It's not repeated. For example, I just signed up for yoga classes. They had a one-off sign-up fee. But after I signed up, I could continue forever and never have to pay that fee again.
Wonderful.
It's just kind of a registration fee, that you have to pay sometimes, different places. So they have this one-off enrollment fee for all of the plans, but the fee is lower if you choose a plan with fewer installments. Why is that? Well, any institution, whether it's a bank or somebody you borrow money from, they would rather have you pay the money back as quickly as possible. So they like to give you incentives or something that encourages you to pay it back faster. So that's a way to encourage them. The fee's lower if you choose a plan with, say, 2 installments and not 3 or 4. So Douglas says, oh, yes, I can see that information on page 2. I'd better read through this before I make my decision. That's a really good thing to consider. When you borrow money, and here he's borrowing money, you need to make sure you fully understand all the terms and conditions. Sometimes they write things in very small print to hide them from you, so make sure you understand what you're getting into.
You must read the fine print before you sign any document. So yes, indeed, he's going to look over these documents and then he's going to make his decision. And then Elizabeth says, sure, no problem, take your time and let me know if you have any questions. And that is that. That leaves Douglas to decide how he's going to pay for his semester at school. And he's going to pay for whatever classes he is taking. Okay, that brings us to the end of our discussion. We need now to listen to our Chinese teacher before we have some extra dialogues and a discussion question for you.
Hello, 大家好，欢迎收听 English Digest， 我是 Sunny。我们今天要来阅读 Unit7 多益单元的第一天课程 Sorting out my payment plan 决定付款方案。首先我们看到课文标题有一个动词片语 sort out。 Sort out 在这里是指 to successfully deal with a problem or difficult situation， 也就是指成功的处理或解决某个困难的问题或情况。例如 The issue was quite tricky,But Benny sorted it out by asking his brother for help. 这个问题相当棘手，但班尼向他哥哥求助，解决了这件事。Sort out 也有整理、收拾的意思。例如 My mother demanded that I sort out the mess on my desk immediately. 我妈妈命令我马上整理书桌上乱七八糟的东西。此外 sort out也可以表示厘清事情。例如 The police are trying to sort out what happened on the night of the explosion. 警方正试图厘清爆炸当晚发生了什么事情。接着我们来看对话的内容。在对话中 Douglas 想要知道学费付款的方式，因此他到了 Financial Aid Office 奖助学金办公室。而办公室的人员 Elizabeth 向他介绍付学费的方式。我们看到 Elizabeth 问了 Douglas 说 Are you planning to pay everything in a lump sum? 你打算一次付清吗？名词 lump 是一整块的意思，而名词 sum 则是一笔金额、总数、总和的意思。所以 a lump sum 就是指一笔一次付清的钱。当我们说 pay something in a lump sum 就是指一次就付清某个东西的钱。例如 Most people in Taipei are unable to pay for a house in a lump sum. 大部分的台北人无法一次付清房子的钱。然后我们看到 Douglas 回答说 I wish I were wealthy enough to do that. 但愿我有那么有钱能一次付清。动词 wish 是希望的意思。 wish 后面接一个完整的子句时候，表示和事实相反的希望，也就是希望某件事情能发生，但是这件事不可能发生。如果是和现在事实相反，子句里的时态要用过去式， be 动词就一律要用 were， 像课文例句就是用 were 来表达自己现在不够有钱，所以不能一次付清学费。如果要表达与过去事实相反，子句里面的时态就要用过去完成式 had 加 VPP。 例如 I wish I had not said those rude words to my friend yesterday。 我希望我昨天没有向我朋友说那些粗鲁的话。接着我们看到 Elizabeth 向 Douglas 介绍学费分期付款的内容。他说 We have a number of different payment plan options that allow you to pay in installments。 我们有一些不同的付款方案选择，可以让你分期付款。名词 installment 是指分期付款里面的其中一期付款，而 pay for something in installments 就是指用分期付款的方式来支付某事物的费用。举个例子， Julie paid for her new car in 12 monthly installments。 朱莉用12个月的分期付款方式来支付买新车的钱。最后我们看到 Elizabeth 向 Douglas 解释每个分期付款方式都要收取交易费。他说Each payment will come with a transaction charge。 每一次付款都会伴随着一笔交易费。 Charge 在这里是名词，表示费用的意思。而这一句提到的 transaction charge 就是指交易费。 Charge 还可以当作动词哦，意思是收费。例如当我们住旅馆的时候，就会向柜台人员询问 How much do you charge for a double？ 你们双人房收费是多少呢？以上就是今天的多益课程，谢谢大家收听。
Okay, guys, as we always do with our TOEIC units, we're going to have some extra dialogues here, some different things you can say, and then we'll talk about them. So do you want to be A or B, Tom?
I'll be A. Okay, here I go.
Okay.
When is the deadline for signing up for a payment plan?
You need to sign up before the first week of classes begins.
Now, if you go back to our conversation between Elizabeth and Douglas, this sounds like the next question he may have asked. Okay,
yeah.
When is the deadline for signing up for the payment plan? Okay, the deadline is the last time that you can sign up for something or when you can do something. You might have a deadline at work or at school, and if you don't get your work done before the deadline, you're going to suffer the consequences.
Be in trouble.
You'll be in trouble.
Yeah.
You might get kicked out of school.
No.
You might be forced to get a haircut or something like that. They might take away your shoelaces or something like that and make you wear slippers in class. Who knows? But in any case here, when's that deadline? When do I have to decide when to make that payment plan and actually sign up? Actually fill in the document, fill out the document and sign it and turn it in with all the fees and everything.
Okay, so the next dialogue, let's see, I'll be B this time. Go ahead, Tom.
Are payment plans offered for summer class sessions?
I'm afraid we only offer plans for the fall and spring semesters.
Okay, now remember earlier I said that my university was divided into 2 semesters and a summer session, so this seems like a logical question to ask about the summer session or summer class sessions. So yes, are there some kind of financial aid plans available for summer classes?
Well, since summer classes usually don't last as long, they're a little cheaper, and so that they are not offering extra help. So probably some of those students who need financial aid probably will just go to school during the real year. We call it the real year. Summer semester is usually extra classes. I always would go summer because I love school. And going home, I had to work. So I would stay. I didn't go to school where my parents lived. I was in a different state. So I would stay up there, go to school, have fun with my friends. Love school. Okay, so no payment plans are offered for shorter semesters, you could say. Okay, I'll be A this time. I think I'll sign up for the 3-month plan, Tom.
Okay, the next thing you need to do is fill out this form.
I wanted to mention we often will see this verb phrase fill out, which means you fill in a form. Just be aware that fill in and fill out are both correct. Just means you're taking your pen or pencil or typing in a form with some information that they are asking for or requiring. Typically, we do this like at the doctor's office, things like that, when they need some history, some background information on us.
Yes, fill out this form.
Yeah.
Okay, here's our discussion question. Here I go. Would you prefer to pay for something all at once or in installments? And please explain your answer.
I kind of like to, if it's not too expensive, Tom, and I'm able to, I'd rather pay it off at once because then I have an accurate idea of how much money I have. Sometimes if you pay it on an installment basis, sometimes you tend to spend more than you have because you think, oh, you know, I can just keep spending. Yeah, I like to buy it. I'd rather just pay it off if I can.
Me too. I don't like to have that burden hanging over my head.
Because that is, in essence, what debt is, right?
And also you do have to pay more in interest that way. But also sometimes if you do make payments in installments and stuff like that, I guess it might give you a good credit rating or something. So in the future, if you borrow money, people will see that you borrowed money and that you paid it back on time. You were
Only
punctual.
on big things.
Yeah, I guess if you buy like a set of encyclopedias or something like that, it's not going to appear on your credit rating.
Well, I was going to give an example of shopping channels. You can't buy a dress and have it split into 3 payments and think that's going to help your credit rating. It will not.
You need to buy a car or a house for that.
House, yeah. Typically. Okay, guys, so this is day 1 of our TOEIC unit. We're going to have day 2, but you'll have to come back for that one. We're going to be talking about payment plans and some of the frequently asked questions that you'll have. But for now, we're done. So thanks for joining us for English Digest. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Tom. Goodbye.
Bye.